Hi everybody, if you've ever wondered what I do exactly when I conduct an animal communication session, today I'm going to share with you what my process is. Stick around. Hi everyone, Colleen here, welcome back. So today I'm going to talk you through the process of what I do to conduct an animal communication session. It's more or less the same for every animal that I talk to, but sometimes it depends on how I'm feeling, how long I take in each step. So obviously, because this is energy work, it depends a great deal on how calm and focused I am. So I try to do a very short meditation beforehand. It's basically just a visualization, which helps me bring myself, kind of like a mindfulness meditation. So it brings me into the now. It's a very common visualization process that many people use. It's you close your eyes. Well, first, you don't close your eyes because the first thing is to actually look at something and focus purely on what it is that you're seeing. So I will just pick something in my room. I have a candle, which I'll show you shortly. I just fix my eyes on that and I just focus on looking at that candle. Then I will close my eyes and I will focus on something that I can hear, whether that be the ticking of the heater or the sound of the PC under the desk or something, and I focus everything on that one thing that I can hear. Then I will smell. I'll try and see if I can smell something. Okay, it's a bit difficult in my office because there's no distinct smells as such, but sometimes I have an aromatherapy diffuser and I will just focus on what that smells like and, what the sensation of that smell feels like. And then I will focus on a sensation on my skin. So what, for instance, what my clothes feel like against my skin. And I will focus just on that feeling. Doing that small exercise will help me become mindful. It brings me into the present. It stops me thinking about when I have to wash up, if I've lit the fire, if I fed the cats enough, etc., etc. It just brings me into the moment. Then what I do is I do a visualization, which is personal to me. I don't know whether every animal communicator does it, but it's a visualization of my chakras opening and being receptive to what is about to happen. So I just take myself through from my crown chakra through to my third eye, through to my throat chakra, my heart, my solar plexus, my sacral, my root. And I have a process that I use that's personal to me for that. So I won't bore you with details of that, but that's what I do. And that for me kind of opens me to the channeling that I'm about to do. Then I start, then I do I have a candle, which I'm going to show you. So instead of, I did used to use real candles because real candles are very special. But to be honest, I started to get through so many candles and it just felt wasteful. So my husband bought me this beautiful LED. You can see it's got a little, so it's an LED candle. And the heat from the bulb inside makes this little bit of plastic blob around like it's a real flame. So for me, that kind of marks the session as open for me. So I put the candle on and that marks the session as open. Then I have a lovely, lovely, lovely snow globe. And many of you know the story of me with my penguin. If you don't know the story of me with my penguin, there is a link on my website called Why the Penguin. So check out there. Somebody bought me this beautiful snow globe a few Christmases back. And what I do is I tend to give that a shake after I've lit the candle. There's just something special about this. Again, for me, it's signaling that the session is open and that I'm now in that communication mode. And it's just really pretty. It's magical, and it makes the moment feel like it's special. Then once I've got all of that started, then I start on the admin. So you may have seen on the website that I have a set of questions that I ask as part of every animal communication session, even though when you purchase a session, you get the chance to ask 12 questions of your own, I always ask these same questions. So what I do is I'm going to share the screen now so that you can see the document, and I'll kind of take you through what it is that I do. So let's switch to there. So this is my bog standard document that I use for everybody. If you've had a session with me, you will recognize it. The colors have changed since I did my rebrand, but the basis of the document is the same. So I have some standard things in there that are the same for every one that I do. I always explain how I introduce myself to the animals in this bit here, because like I've said, there many animals are like, wait, what? So I take time to gradually introduce myself and explain that their guardians have asked me to ask some questions, and it's for their benefit. It's giving them a chance to voice their opinions or needs or wants. So I explain what I'm doing there. And I explain that anything in double quotes in the document is a direct thing that the animal has said. So if they use a specific phrase or if they use a specific term to describe something, I make sure I put it in inverted commas, because quite often that same term resonates with the client. So I make sure that I do that so that the client knows that that wasn't something that I said, it came directly from the animal. What I do is every animal communication session that I do a Reiki scan. So this little bit here is my disclaimer. So it's not the same as a veterinary checkup. Please, 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 it is not the same. All this is a chance for the animal to say, oh, great, now I can mention that I've got a toothache that, I haven't been able to say otherwise. Or now I can explain that my back leg hurts a bit when I've been sleeping for a long time. So what I do is I do the Reiki scan, and I give the animal a chance. I sort of go over the whole body, and I give the animal a chance to say, oh, that bit there hurts, or that bit there itches, or that bit there stings, or that bit feels stiff, sore, has a bit of discomfort, or whatever. And I put everything in this section here so that the client knows, right, okay, I didn't know my dog had, I don't know, an itchy tail or a sore paw or, a blocked nose or whatever. I tend to ask if the animal is feeling strong, because asking animal, how are you feeling today? The animal's going to go, great, why? And we might not get the detail that we need. So I ask the animal if they're feeling strong, because then they're able to say, yes, I'm feeling great. A dog told me the other day it was feeling powerful, which was fabulous. But sometimes, especially with elderly animals, they'll say, well, yeah, I'm not feeling quite as strong as I used to, but, it's my age, don't worry about it. Or this is giving the animal a chance to explain how they're feeling. I ask them if they have any discomfort anywhere, and if the discomfort is intermittent or if it's there constantly, and that gives us some idea about the length of time that the animals are experiencing this discomfort, and then if they're in any pain. Now, I have had animals that have got through this section and have not mentioned any pain or discomfort, and we've got to a question later on where they've admitted that they have a sore tooth or a sore leg or something. And what I've discovered is that, much like people, when you say to an animal, are you having pain? They go, no, it's fine. When it's not. You know what it's like? It's the same with people. You say to me, how are you doing? And they go, no, I'm fine. And you, meantime, they've got achy legs, they've got achy back, they've got, earache or whatever. So that's why this isn't a veterinary checkup. It's just giving the animal a chance to have their say. Right, so what I do is I open up this document when I first start. Those are all my standard questions. Oh, there's one more, I think, at the bottom. Yes. Is there anything you like to say? I always like to include that to give the animal a chance to say what they need to say. Then I will get the questions that the client has sent me. So I have some here. So what I do is then I copy and paste them, and I come over here and I plonk them in the document. And then obviously I will format the document afterwards, which I won't do now. And I will go through those questions. So you can see here, you know, how well does your body feel? That one isn't, well, that one will be grouped with these ones here. So quite often if that happens, I will say to the client, oh, you know, you've included a question that I already asked. Would you like to ask another one? Same with this one here. What would you like us to know? In this case, I would also get back to the client and say, I already asked this one here. So would you like to include another question? Then I will bring a picture of the animal. And we plonk that in here. There we go. And then obviously I'll format the document so that it looks all nice. And then I can start typing. And then literally I will go through the document and just ask the animal the questions. I tend to ask them out aloud so that it's a good focus for me. And then I simply just sit and I wait. And if you know, I've said before why I don't do live readings. This is because sometimes I wait quite a while for the answer. So I could be sitting here for, 10 minutes, just thinking that same question. And sometimes there'll just be something on the edge of my consciousness that just pops in and I go, all right, okay, I'm there. And then I will go through and I will populate the document with the animal's answers. Just to take you back to the beginning, I know I've kind of jumped a little bit around, but when I first connect with the animal, what I do is I focus on the photograph of the animal. So I will sit and I will look at that photograph like I am looking into the soul of the animal. So in this case, I would look at the eyes and I would really look and almost experience physically what it would feel like to touch that animal. What does the fur on this cat's head feel like? What does, he's got this lovely black fur. What does the fur feel like on his back? He's got these lovely little whiskers. What would they feel like? What would his face feel like if it was right in front of me? And doing this, for me, connects me to the animal. And then what I do is I have a place in my mind. That sounds a bit woo-woo. But I have a place in my mind where I go, and then once I've connected to the animal, I ask the animal to join me there. And I will see a visualization in my head of that animal in that place. And how they are acting then and there is immediately how I start the writing. So in this case, I would start saying, oh, when I first connected with Blue, he was sprawled in front of a fire and didn't pay much attention to me. So immediately we start getting an idea of the personality of the animal. And as I type that, the more will come, and then it will start to become apparent what the animal's like, what their character's like, what their personality's like. And from that is my first bit of verifiable evidence that I have indeed connected to your animal. Because if I describe an animal that's nothing like your animal, then you can get back to me and say, Colleen, I don't know who you were just talking to, but it wasn't my cat. But that hasn't happened yet. So normally what happens is I describe the animal and people go, oh my God, that's exactly what they like. And, they have all these quirky little bits. Bearing in mind, this is not a general description. So in this case, I'm not going to go, oh yes, I connected to Blue and he looks like a very laid back, relaxed cat. Okay, I'm not going to say that. It's a paragraph of character description. It'll be, this cat likes to be on his own. He doesn't climb the trees like the other cats like. He'd much prefer to lie in front of the fire. He's the one that would always try to follow you around. He's the one that meows the loudest, or things that are very specific. So you're not going to get any generalizations. So I think that's about it. And then I will populate the document. The documents for the big readings normally range from 3 to 5 pages long, depending on how chatty the animal is. I have had some animals that really are just very businesslike and they just give very, very short answers to questions, and I kind of struggle to get information out of them. It's the same with some people. You're never going to get long, complicated answers. But on the flip side, I have had some animals that are very, very chatty, and I've kind of gone on to six odd pages or so just because of the level of detail that they give. And then when I'm finished, I will save the document and I send it back to the client, and the client reads through it. And most of the time they will come back with, a couple of questions or clarification, or when the animal said that, did you get a sense of this or this? And then I say, oh, no, I got more of a sense of this. And then they say, yes, that's right, because. So, we have like a bit of a conversation. I think that's about it. If we have a video session rather than the email session, what I will do is I will finish the communication like I have shown you here, save the document, and then I wait until we have the video appointment, and then you and I will have a video session, and I will open the document like it is now completed, and we go through it together, and you have a chance to then ask, as I'm going through the document, oh, they said that there. What did they mean by that? Did you get a sense of, or what sense did you get when they were saying that? So the video is kind of better in a way because you're fully involved in the actual document instead of just getting it via email. So I think that's about it. I hope that that's shed a little bit of light on how the session works. When I'm finished the document, I would then do a full energy cleanse. I turn my candle off and I do an energy cleanse. What I find, if I don't do that, I can become very, very fatigued and very emotionally heavy, especially if the readings are transition readings or rainbow bridge readings. So I do a full energy cleanse, and I go downstairs and have a coffee, wash my hands, run around a little bit, play with the cats, kind of bring myself back to real life before I will come upstairs and do another reading. I hope that that's shed a little bit of light. If you have any questions about this, let me just put you back to this one. If you have any questions about the process, or you would like to find out more about how I do it and how you could benefit from it, please just feel free to give me a shout. Either comment below or message me via the website. So the details are in my bio. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye for now.